So J-Mac was saying, when are we going to talk about the draft? So TJ Houshmandzadeh, 11 years in the NFL, Pro Bowler, works with a lot of these young kids. He was the one that 3 years ago came on this show and said, Justin Herbert's going to be great. And we were like, great. And he was great. He gives us all these pre-draft gems. So you're working with the young quarterbacks again.
Yeah, we're just talking with J-Mac. I know J-Mac likes to hoop. You don't want to see Bryce or C.J. on the basketball court.
So let's talk Bryce Young. Athlete?
Very, very like Bryce is super athletic. Can hoop, can play basketball. Like on the field, he'll just mess around and do releases. Like that's receiver work. It's quick, looks good doing that. He can pretty much do whatever. He's that good of an athlete.
Okay, not big, kind of light, 195.
He's not tall. He's gotten thicker. He's put on some weight. He's consistently 200 every day. Every day.
So you guys weigh him?
Well, I ask him, what you weighing? He just smiles. 204, okay. 205, 202.
How's his arm strength?
Very good. Like, he's so accurate. Like, arm strength can be overrated at times. If you throw with anticipation, it doesn't matter. We got some guys out there that can run. John Ross is out there. He overthrowing Ross. And Ross can run.
He was the fastest guy in the combine.
Can run. And so Bryce is just extremely accurate, throws in anticipation. If you just watch when we're training, like, he'll put his body in certain situations. Guys running a deep over route. Bryce is drifting one way, throws the ball accurately in stride. It's always a good throw, always.
Yeah, he sees the field well. Quick release, you say good enough arm, and super athletic.
Super athletic. And when he's not getting out of the pocket to run, he's getting out of the pocket to throw the ball. And that's what you want. That's today's quarterback is the most successful ones that are mobile, but they're mobile to throw, not mobile to run.
All right, C.J. Stroud's another California kid, goes to Ohio State, very accurate, good size. Here's my knock. What's the it? Where is he great? I see a lot of good. Where's the juice? Where's the wow?
And you don't know with any of these guys coming out, but CJ's a bigger guy. Another guy, extremely accurate, really good arm. What I like about CJ is this is off the field. Whoever the 50, and I've told people this, whoever's the 53rd guy on the roster, he's going to make them feel like they're the first guy on the roster.
Nice guy.
That's just who he is. He's going to make everybody feel important. And that goes a long way when you're the quarterback where you feel like, oh, I may be on a practice squad or I may not play. He's not going to treat them that way. That's off the field. On the field, I think because he played with Ohio State and their receivers are constantly getting drafted to the league.
Well, they're unbelievable. They're like all great.
But you go look at the quarterbacks of the last few years that have been drafted outside of Herbert, their receivers go to the league and do well. I mean, you look at Joe Burrow with Justin Jefferson and Jamar Chase, two of the top 5 receivers in the league.
Yeah.
You look what Bryce Young played with at Alabama. He's going to play with better receivers at Alabama that he's going to go to the league and play with. And so I don't hold that against CJ that he played with really good receivers. He's accurate. He has a really good arm. He's smart. He understands the game of football. But these kids need to get drafted to a team that's
not in chaos.
You want something to be functional, not dysfunctional. Because you go to a dysfunctional franchise.
You have to be Trevor Lawrence good. You have to be like Andrew Luck.
And you can be Trevor Lawrence good. If Urban Meyer stays there,
they don't win.
Trevor Lawrence is going to be considered a bust.
So let's go. Who else do you got in camp? Will Levis?
Will Levis is with Jordan Palmer.
Let me ask this. He's a little muscular for my taste. He's not real fluid. Big arm. Is he fluid enough?
He throws the ball differently.
Yeah, it's weird. He's got
but it's different. It is different when you watch the other guys throw. It's his throwing motion is different. But man, it's what you said. He's big. He's muscular, but I don't know if he's too muscular. He just kind of reminds me of Tim Couch, even though they went to Kentucky. A big guy, good size, really good arm. He's mobile. Only thing that concerns me is you couldn't play at Penn State. You couldn't play at Penn State, and then you go to Kentucky because you couldn't beat out Sean Clifford at Penn State. That concerns me. Now, could it be politics, that happens a ton in college football.
I mean, Joe Burrow transferred, so. And he's better than R.J. Barrett. Wasn't that the name of the quarterback?
Yes, yes. And Dwayne Haskins and those guys.
What it was? J.T. Barrett.
J.T. Barrett.
My bad, sorry.
So his throw motion is different, Will Levis. The key to this, like Jordan Palmer does a hell of a job training these guys and teaching them coverage and teaching them how to manipulate defenses. I've been around him so much, he does a really good job at that. If you take to that coaching, you're going to be DTRs out there. Think he looks good throwing the ball.
Okay, how about, do you have Anthony Richardson?
No.
Okay.
But I spent some time with Anthony Richardson. I went to the Combine. I was there the whole week.
What did you make of it? Who stood out to you? Hey, let me ask you this. So give me a receiver that you thought was really good at the Combine.
Wow, just one?
Well, obviously there's an abundance of them.
These are the guys that I thought were good players at the Combine, receivers. I like Tank Dell from Houston, Zay Flowers, Josh Downs, Jackson Smith and Jigba, Michael Wilson from Stanford, Mingo from Ole Miss, Quentin Johnson from TCU, and it was
all look like NFL guys?
Yes, and it was a kid from South Carolina. I believe his last name was Brooks.
Okay.
For me, those are the guys that stood out to me. That was about 7 receivers.
And they all looked the part.
Oh, yeah.
Flowers is a little small, but like explosive.
Tank Dell, Zay Flowers, Josh Downs, they're all shorter receivers.
What did you think of Richardson at the Combine?
I thought Richardson, super athletic, really, really good arm.
Can you fix the accuracy?
They fixed Josh Allen. I mean, Josh Allen was able to get it fixed. And so that was one thing that people said, I don't know if you're inaccurate in college, you're going to be inaccurate. Josh Allen is kind of
I watched him in college. He was inaccurate.
And he didn't start a ton of games. And that concerns me. But this is what I will say. We had a meeting at the Combine. He was actually part of my group. And after that meeting, he just pulled me to the side and was like, man, I just want to kind of pick your brain. And I thought that was impressive. He didn't have to do that. Talk to him. We exchange text messages now here and there. I root for him. I hope he does well. But again, he's going to have to be a guy that sits similar to what Jordan Love has done, what Aaron Rodgers did behind Brett Favre if he's to be successful, because it's hard when you start so few games in college.
Let's go to the Jordan Love thing. Did you have him?
We did.
Okay, so he's tall enough. He moves very, very well. It was funny. In college, he had a very good year before his last year. Now, that could have been he lost offensive linemen, he lost a coach. So he had a very good year of college. Then he came back and didn't play as well. Give me his strength. Give me, if I'm a Packer fan, Jordan Love's strength when you saw him and something that concerns you.
His strength was his size, his arm strength. But now when he came in, I believe it was that Philadelphia game, went 6 for 9, I think he threw for 111, 114 yards and a touchdown. I was really impressed.
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers is a trailblazer, man. Like, all these young kids want to be like him. His motion, the way he was throwing the ball was just like Aaron Rodgers. And that was different than what he was. And so that
when's the last time you saw Jordan Love?
On the field?
Like you work with him?
Oh, work when he was coming out.
Okay.
But I've seen him on the field last offseason. Yeah. But it's different.
So he now he's got the Aaron motion.
Yes, and I think a lot of these young kids, everybody growing up now, all the high school kids, they're all mimicking Aaron Rodgers, all of them. Every last one of them.
And, it's interesting with Aaron, he kind of throws going backwards. It's he can do it because his arm's so strong. Aaron's mechanically is so unique. It reminds me years ago, like, I grew up with a baseball player named Joe Morgan, and then there was John Kruk. And then you see golfers who have wacky stances, or there are these guys that just go against mechanics.
You know what I think, though, Colin? If you talk to the Jordan Palmers and the John Becks and Adam Dedoes, Taylor Kellys of the world, they'll tell you what Aaron Rodgers, how he throws the ball is how it should have been taught. And now that's what they're teaching. That's what they're teaching.
Where does he get Brady got his leverage from his hips. Where does Aaron get it from?
It's the hips. It's if you equate it to baseball, when you get in the stretch, your lower body goes first, your upper body stays back. When you get your upper body ahead of your lower body, that's when the mechanics get out of whack. And so a lot of this, all these sports intertwine. It's just like playing baseball. Get in the stretch, let the lower half go first, upper half come second.
All right. So would you draft, you're a GM, C.J. Stroud, Bryce Young, first pick, go.
Wow. Man, they're going to be mad at me, one of them. I would probably, I'd go C.J.
Wow. Size?
Yeah, and Bryce is going to be fun. C.J. needs to go where he's come. Bryce is just a different person mentally. Like, Bryce can go anywhere, and he's going to be successful because of his temperament. He doesn't get too high, too low. Like, just the way he carries himself. CJ needs to go somewhere where the coach believes in him.
Yeah.
You got guys that can make plays because he's a little more fiery than Bryce is, a little more talkative than what Bryce is. But I would probably go CJ.
Wow. I like that. One thing I like about Bryce, when I saw his high school stuff, and I've seen it in college, he sees the entire field well. A lot of young quarterbacks see parts of it. Like a lot of guys come out of college, and they've only been coached to see the right side of the field, 2 receivers. I always feel like Bryce sees the field. He moves around, his head's moving.
He's smart. He's good. He processes so fast.
And some guys, Mahomes is like that. Insane processor.
He was taught at an early age to process, and it's funny, we were just talking about this on Friday, me and Bryce. He was like, there's one thing to understand what to do, but when you say set hut, can you process it fast enough? We just had this discussion on Friday that a lot of guys can tell you what to do and they'll break it down. But when you have to do it and that pass rush is coming, it's different. It's completely different.
Yeah. Good stuff. TJ Houshmandzadeh. You on after us too today?
Yes, sir.
All right. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, be sure to check out more of the best clips from The Herd or go watch a few segments from other shows on FS1.